Hi, my name is Jamin Goecker. I'm a realtor in South Central Alaska, and my mission is to help people build intentional, significant legacies for themselves and their families by coaching them in real estate. Now, a big part of that is making sure that I keep you well informed on everything that is going on in the market. So in order to do that, I've created the monthly market update for what is going on specifically in the Eagle River real estate market. I'm going to be looking at a couple metrics that are going to be a little bit different this month because I want to see which parts of Eagle River actually have the highest market value so far for the entire year overall for Eagle River. That's something that I am very interested in knowing. I'm sure you'd like to know as well. We'll go and jump into that in just a couple minutes. Before we get started though, definitely make sure that you give this video a like and make sure that you subscribe. And if you have any specific questions at the end of the video, by all means, post those in the comment section down below. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Now, the first thing that we're going to look at is the total number of active homes that are currently on the market compared to the same time last year in the Eagle River market. So we're going to be looking at about mid-August up to about mid-September and just compare those two slices of time right next to each other. So the total number of inventory we had on the market last year was 227 homes. Now there's 186 homes that are on the market. So what that means is that we have less inventory than we did this time last year, which is really in keeping for what we're seeing with all the other homes in the area, or I'm sorry, all the other areas, all the other real estate markets in the area. There we go, I can talk. So that's the number of total active. The number of properties that are under contract, though, has actually gone up to 64 homes overall this year, whereas only 53 homes were under contract last year. So we're seeing there's an increased demand in a decreased amount of inventory that's available on the market, which really explains this next slide, where we see a much higher pending ratio. Now, what this is it says, okay, well, you might have, let's just say 100 houses that are on the market, but of those 100 houses, like 70 of those are under contract. So realistically, only about 30 homes are actually available to sell. Last year, of the overall inventory of the pending ratio, about 36% of the homes that were on the market were actually pending or under contract, so they weren't actually available. Looking this year, though, from the same time frame, about mid-August to mid-September, we are actually seeing we are up to about 57% pending ratio, which just means that we have way more demand than we this time of year than we did the previous year. So that's really good. We'll go ahead and do a bit of a summary here at the end, but just yeah, that's good. So going on, looking at new listings here, this is going to be a little bit different, and this isn't really drawn to scale. And I'll well, actually, let me go ahead and just change that real quick, just so you see this a little bit more in scale. There we go. So that's going to be a little bit more representative of what's actually going on. So I use this to show us, okay, do we expect to see a sudden uptick in the number of new houses that are coming on the market? Because obviously, if you have a sudden rush or influx of inventory, that can obviously, change the market drastically. Right at the moment, it's a very strong seller's market. If you're a buyer, don't be afraid. There's still things we can do to make you more competitive. Talk about that in a later video. If you're a seller, it's awesome though, because it drives up the prices and the days on the market go way down. We're not seeing it. Obviously, we are seeing more houses on the market during this time frame went on compared to the same time last year. It's up by only about 9 houses overall though. So it is something we're going to be keeping an eye on. I definitely want to know, can we expect to see kind of a slow creep of inventory back to normal? I would honestly prefer kind of this slow creep more than just a sudden drastic change one way or the other, just so the market has enough time to kind of slowly adapt back to more of a balanced market. So that's the number of new listings that we're seeing there. Number of listings that are actually sold, that is pretty neck and neck right at the moment. Last year during this time period, about 54 homes sold. This time, 56 homes sold, so pretty comparable. And the number of overall volume for the area actually went up as well, as you can see from here. Not by a huge amount, but it definitely did go up. And I mean, especially considering we have so much less inventory than we did the same time period last year. So that's good. That's significant. Moving on to the average sold price, this did go up pretty significantly. That's about a $12,000 increase from year over year for the average sold price. Now, I don't always love looking at the average sold price because there's just a lot of variables that come into play when we're looking at the average sold price. It could be that maybe there's a lot more officer grade people that were moving out. Their houses are going to be typically a little bit more expensive, and so them moving out this year is going to make the overall average go up. It might be that we had more turnover in one specific area. So you do kind of see full variables like that can throw it off. But either way, this is a healthy indicator that the average sold price is going up compared to the previous year. Okay, days on market. This again is something we would expect. The days on market was 44 this time last year. Now it is 38 days on market. And it takes a Herculean effort to really put a dent in any average days on market, just because you have everything along the entire scale of what is going on in the market. So you have the $1 million properties; those are going to sit on the market for a long time, and then you have the properties in about the 275 to 300 price range that are going to be on and off in a day. So the fact that we did manage to come down 6 days overall on average for the days on market is actually pretty significant. And it does kind of speak to just how quickly the market is moving and just how healthy it is. Has this been useful for you so far? If it has, make sure that you give this video a like, first off. But secondly, if you are wanting to start looking for homes in the Eagle River area, or maybe you're looking at getting your home on the market and you just want to see what the competition is, make sure that you download my app so you can start looking at homes in the area, so you can kind of refresh yourself, see what the buying or selling process is going to look like. That's going to be laid out inside of the app. More details on how to download it and what it can do for you is going to be at the very end of this video, so make sure you stick around for that. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and finish today's market update. Now, lastly, what we want to know is what part of Eagle River has the highest price range overall for the entire area. Now, lastly, what we want to know is what area has the highest priced area. Now, lastly, what we want to know is what part of Eagle River has the highest market value so far for the entire year. The previous measurements we had was just for the 1 month time period going from about mid-August to mid-September. The following numbers is going to be for this year up to this time. So just looking overall for the entire Eagle River, that includes, obviously, let me zoom back in here a little bit. Includes this, and it's going to be going up the South Fork and the Eagle River Road a little bit. But overall, the overall price up to this point in this year is $396,823. Okay, so that's doing pretty good. And the average list price is going to be, the amount you initially start out with is $399,301. So pretty close. That's about a 99% list to sales ratio. And the average days on market overall for Eagle River for the entire year is going to be 43 days. Obviously, we had about a month or so when we're all in quarantine, so that's kind of throwing the yearly average off, I'm sure. Now, which part of Eagle River, now that we kind of have the established average here, what part of Eagle River has the highest market values? Now, initially, just looking at it, we might think something like, the properties over on Skyline, on Baldy, those probably have a pretty high market value. Maybe Powder Ridge over here, that's right across from Fred Meyer's, maybe, but I'm kind of diving deeper into the numbers. The area that I saw that has the highest market value right now is actually going to be over here at Eagle Point. Okay, so this is going to be just down the road from the Eagle River High School, and the average list price for this area is going to be $607,677, and the average sold price is $608,546. So what we see is in this area, this only time I've seen this, is that it's actually above, the average sold price is actually above what the average list price is, which means that it is such an area that it's an area that's in such high demand that people will actually come in and offer more than what you're asking just so they can get into the area. So that's pretty significant, and that's also pretty significantly above the overall average for the entire town. Because like I said, overall average for Eagle River is roughly about, up to this point in this year, is about 397, just rounding up. And the average for Eagle Point, which is going to be really this entire little area right here, is going to be the 609,000. So pretty significant. Now, I will say this, in this area over in Eagle Point, the average days on market is 102, whereas the average days on market for the rest of Eagle River is 43. So while this area is obviously getting a higher demand, it's also not moving particularly quickly, at least overall for the entire year. So that's kind of just looking at the most high area of Eagle River that has the highest market value, as of now, up to this time this year. So summarizing all of this together, what we're seeing is, number one, inventory continues to be low. Number two, the pending ratio continues to indicate we have a very high demand for homes that are in the Eagle River area. Thirdly, the average sold price obviously continues to be very strong, especially if you're in Eagle Point. And we're seeing a little bit of an uptick in the number of inventory coming on the market compared to this time last year, at least for the past month, but not anything that would make me think that we're about to just get flooded by inventory. So overall, very good indications for what's going on in the market. If you have any questions as a seller, obviously make sure that you reach out to me. If you have any questions as a buyer, you might be thinking, man, this might not be a good time for me to buy right now, which the fact of the matter is you can buy or sell a home regardless what's going on in the market. We just have to be very strategic about what it is that we're doing and the strategies that we're going to be using to make sure that you win in what is almost always going to be a multiple offers situation if we find a house that's a good one. So I hope this has been useful for you. If it has, make sure you give this video a like. If you have any specific questions for me, make sure that you reach out to me directly through my Facebook page. The link for that's going to be in the description down below. I do my best to respond to as many comments as I can, but there's a lot of comments coming in. I'm doing my best to keep up, but I can't always get to all of them. So if you have any questions, you need to have a response from me, make sure you message me directly on my Facebook page. And lastly, as I mentioned earlier, if you are wanting to start looking at homes in Eagle River and trying to get a real good feel for the properties that are on the market, make sure that you download my app. The details for that is going to be in the video that's going to be coming on right after this one, and I'll kind of walk you through that a little bit. And I sure hope this has been useful, and thank you for watching. Downloading my app is pretty simple. You simply scroll to the description section of my videos, click on the link there. It's going to take you to my website. From there, scroll down, hit download app. It'll take you to a place where you enter in your phone number, enter that in, click send link. It's going to text you a link to the App Store. And from there, you'll have to click on that, enter in your email address, and then it's going to register you to the app, and you'll be able to start modifying your search. You can modify number of bedrooms, bathrooms, property type. You have a lot of modifications you can do on there, or just draw a shape to it. From there, you'll have the ability to go and just browse through, create your own specific saved searches on there that's going to make sense for you. Go ahead and add notes just so it makes sense. And that's going to be kind of the basic search capabilities. There are a lot of extra bonuses and things to this that make it really beneficial, like walking you through the entire process as a buyer or seller and giving you all the details that's involved with each one of those steps. So never at any point are you going to be lost in the process. So we've kind of just scratched the surface here, but that's just to get you started.